Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And yes, we are back for yet another amazing conversation about men empowerment, and especially during this month of Men's Health Month, as well as Father's Day coming up. We've got another amazing subject that myself and Professor Maurizio Rossini will be talking into. Professor, what's your thoughts today?
Good to see you, John. Good to see you. Thanks for the opening as well. I see it very well. I see that worldwide, and that was one of the perceptions and hunches that I had when I started the journey into men's work. I had really the strong feeling that I can see clearly that probably within the next 5 years, no more than 10, many, many men worldwide, they will stop procrastinating. They will take charge instead of projecting, what is missing on others, maybe the wife, the kids, or the fellow brothers. Men taking charge of their emotions. The work we are doing, John, believe it or not, if we zoom out, we are contributing to this amazing evolution of consciousness where men and women, both genders, they take ownership of what's going on within, and consequently, for the sake of a better understanding, better communication, we can live better. Women, to be honest, they've been doing a way better job than men in terms of inner work, in terms of acknowledging the inner game within. Men, because as you know, we tend to avoid emotions. We don't know how to manage them. That's why we distract ourselves in many ways. So I see it very well, man. I'm very grateful that life showed me, and even to you, show us how we can contribute. And it's very powerful, not for fulfill the ego, simply because we are here to contribute, and that's our way to do that. So I believe everything is very well.
Well, again, as always, amazing insights, and I also love the weekly newsletters you write. And this time it was about the father, of course, very much so. And one thing that struck me in there already, because you said as well that women cope with it much better because women communicate much easier. We still got this: men have got to be men, and real men don't cry, and all this stuff that we talk into. And we need men to understand that, yes, real men do cry. Yes, real men have issues. And yes, real men need support, guidance, and help as well. In fact, even more so, because with us holding it in. And then what really struck me in your latest newsletter was that, and it's so true, we would like our fathers to be our heroes, not just heroes, but our heroes. And we look up to them and we learn from them and through them. But the message that comes out is not always as clear, and we don't always see them as heroes. Maybe when we're very little we see it, but as we grow older, and it hit a chord with me too, because I remember the discussions called arguments as well I had with my dad when I was a teenager. Teenagers know best, but when you grow up, you get to see your father in a different light, and the wisdom that actually they try to impart in the best way possible. But as you wrote in there as well, there is many challenges and one quote that came to me is hurt people, and with the best intentions, because fathers don't want to do this to their children, and they have no intention of doing that, but unknowingly they actually project what they've gone through, the pain and the hurt that they hold in to their children. So what's your thoughts on that?
Wow, you open an amazing gateway, because I can reframe this. What if we came in this physical life and we came actually to experience those traumas and consequently do the work? Because look, you as Jan, as an amazing Dutch, Scottish, living in South Africa, myself, this is in this lifetime, this is your character. My character is an Italian guy at the moment living in Malaysia. Yeah. But at times we go through challenges, and then we look at the neighbor, the fellow man, woman, and we say, oh, they look so happy. I would love to live their life. But if you get to know those people, they do have their challenges. So number one, either we like it or not, we came here to experience. So all of us are going through certain traumas. And it's generational. All the amazing fathers and mothers listening to this conversation, you can try your very best, coming from the space of love, applying all the latest parental educational protocols. Still, your kid, son or daughter, they will still go through some traumas because they do need to experience that. So saying that is, once it comes to celebrate our parents, and we all had something to say, because of them, I'm like this. It's just a projection. Once we zoom out and we understand that we were meant to receive and experience traumas, then the projection with anger and resentment to somebody else goes away. So consequently, I say, okay, my father and my mother, in my example, they taught me consciously, unconsciously, a lot of scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
Right. And in my 20s, I felt a lot of anger and a lot of rejection with them. Then you grow, you understand that they did their own best, so you forgive. And I took ownership and say, okay, how can I deal now with it? So as I wrote in the newsletter, at times the best and most powerful things that you can do as a son or as a daughter towards your father is forgive him, not because of him, but because of you. Because in order to be free, you need to let go of something that does not belong to you anymore, and not keeping with excuses as because of them, because of my father, I'm like this. That's just simply projecting. So it's taking ownership and then work on yourself.
And again, I absolutely love that, because that was just coming to my mind about the forgiveness stood out for me, because as a values-based leadership specialist, we talk a lot about the different values, and we learn in that the person you need to forgive yourself most is the person living inside of you, because we can't live with things that have been put on us. And I think it talks into, what happens around you and what happens to you is not half as important as what happens within you. So forgiveness of self is so powerful. It frees you up, and not only physically but mentally, spiritually, emotionally. That freedom that you get, and it's not, if fathers have not done what they should have been doing or have done wrong things, yes, they need to forgive you. You need to forgive them as well, and they need to forgive themselves in turn. But it to me, it is also that we because we have that anger and resentment, and mental health is suffering, and that's what we're talking about this month a lot. That we need to make sure that we also ensure that we become the best person. Because another thing, I loved what you said in there, and I even wrote it down, is your father's ceiling does not have to become your prison. And I thought, wow, that is such a powerful statement. You always have powerful statements anyway, but it really talks about a glass ceiling. My wife talks about that, and that ceiling. When we talk about the ceiling, it's the lid, the law of the lid. John Maxwell talks about it in his leadership. And when there is a lid, and we create our own lids because of what happened around us and what happens to us and what happens within us, but we need to find out what that lid actually is and who has created it. And we often find out that it's us that have created because of what happened to us. But it says we have the power. We have the power to do something about it. But again, we will always go back to the fact that men don't discuss these kind of things. Men don't want to have those serious and intense conversations, because if we let people know that we've got shortcomings, heaven forbid, if we let people know that we have this entitlement, because when there is a ceiling, it makes it easy to say, I call it blame storming, that we blame everybody else, including the neighbor, the dog, and everybody else for the things that's wrong with us. But then it says, well, in our values-based leadership, we talk about transformation begins in me, which really talks about be the change you want to see. So how important do you think is the fact that we need to, first of all, we need to talk openly, and I hope that those that are listening and watching this, that they start discussions below this in the comments box as well, and they start asking questions as well as any subjects that they want to learn. I just want to get it out there now. But how important do you think is that we need to start having these conversations, so we start realizing exactly what's wrong, and how can we go about changing some of that? Take that first step.
I can start with some data. In 2024, around 800,000 men kill themselves worldwide.
Oof.
Means a man on average every 40 seconds, simply because there is a lack of emotional regulations. Men, they go through pain. They try to avoid the pain in many ways as possible: drugs, alcohol, porn, gambling, overworking out, overeating, whatever it is, until they cannot cope anymore. Because if we avoid the pain stays there, it's not being processed. So when there is no emotional regulation, means the avoidance of dealing and experiencing our emotions, this will happen. So this conversation that we're doing, we're not here to teach anybody how to live. And to all my fellow brothers, hyper alpha male, telling me, look at these guys, because a real man has to push over. I can guarantee you that man is going through so much pain and creates an armor around him, pretending to have everything under control. But if you listen to me right now, I know 100% that you know that you need to seek support. And we keep preaching, reach out to a fellow group of men that they can hold your space, where you can have honest conversation, because there is nothing more powerful than be sitting around with other fellow men and open up a conversation. So men, they do realize that, number one, they are not lonely in their journey. Number two, another man that most likely they were looking up to is going through the same. And this doesn't make you any less than a man if you say, you know, boys, I need to address something, a conversation with my kids, with my wife, with myself, in my business, and I really don't know what to do. Real self-confidence is the capacity to say, guys, I don't know. I need guidance on this. And a real man, not the one that shows the muscles because it seems to impress the world. A real man is a man grounded. You are the master of leadership. A real man, it's a leader that doesn't need to shout. It's because the way he moves, he talks to people, he treats them, he carries himself, and is able to manage other people. If you think that you need to shout to show your muscles, it's because simply you are so insecure that you are not able to have a proper conversation. Consequently, you become abusive. In order, and I finish, to let go of that abusing behavior, you got to forgive yourself. It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to experience your emotions. And it's okay when you feel safe to share. And that's your duty to find your own tribe. It's okay to share your feelings. And one step further, your wife, your girlfriend, she's not your therapist. When you are, yeah, I guess, we all know, right? Our wives or girlfriends or partners, they are not our therapists. So there is time to interact, of course, with these beautiful women, but there is time to get together with men. Not because we are better than women, or it's a different ball game. It's simply energetically, our ancestors, they were gathering with the men, go hunting, understanding how to manage the village, and then go back to the women. So even to support our beautiful women, we do not have to treat them as therapists, but find your tribe.
And I love that. I mean, so many nuggets in there. I hope when people actually watch this that they have a pen and paper ready, because you'll miss some of it. You might have to watch it more times. But it is so important. And, forgiveness and accepting your father for who he is. He's doing his best. And in this month when we have Father's Day as well, appreciate your fathers. Because one day, if you're not a father yet, one day I hope you will be a father. And I think that also that if he wasn't the father that you expected, remember he did his best with everything that was passed on to him as well, and he's passing it on to you. I would say become the father you wish he was. And so if you find out these simple mistakes that you think, I don't like this about my father. Let's face it, if you look in the mirror, you probably don't even like everything you see in the mirror. And there's other people who don't like everything you do. That makes us human. But having these conversations, I think, is so important, and we look forward to moving ahead with these. And we need to listen to you. We want to listen to you because you are the ones that matter so much, that we want to hear from you. Put your comments below this. Let us know your insights about this particular subjects. Let us know what your thoughts are, what your pains are, and we want to carry on this conversation and make them much bigger than they are just now. They're growing. So share this with other men who need to know this. Share this with other women who have a husband or a spouse or a son or a father that will help them too to understand what is going on, because I think these are so important. We need to keep them going, but we also want to hear from you what subject in this whole overall men's empowerment, men's health, and men's circle, as you amazingly do all the time. I watch it with awe, and I want to be part of it sometime. But what can we discuss? What is it important to you? Because you all matter. So for me, I want to say goodbye, and we'll see you again soon. Maurizio, what's your last words for the people?
Just we, as you said, just to close it up, we come from a space of serving, giving. There is not one truth. We just expressing what we believe. It's a portion of truth. So whoever resonates, the most important thing that you just engage, put a like, share with a man or even a woman that he or needs to listen to this, and leave us a comment, and we're going to explore any topic that you want. So the whole point is to engage with you guys and girls.
Love it. Take care, everyone.